Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 11 of What If Naruto Was Told about the Uzumaki Clan from the beginning. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode on this channel, What If Naruto Was a Legendary Neglected Uzumaki, and enjoy that guys. And stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over Anime King 2 and Anime King 3. If you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for helping and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, with this we begin this new episode. Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Yoshino went towards Nagato as the both of them spoke, as something was being done towards the Uzumaki Clan that they will need time for, perhaps 2 years or so, as they had to keep things secretive for a while, as he knew that the nations would not act, given what they did to the Hidden Stone spies. With that he went back home, as he spoke to Goren, as the Kumo Shinobis had moved against them, but Goren hadn't killed them. And he thanked her for that. They were gonna send them back to the Raikage and even apologize after all. When someone powerful stands in your way, you did not try to fight, you just apologize. When you know you didn't have a chance of winning right now. And then relax, and they would think of you as no threat. As he knew what he was doing, and the Emperor signed off on this. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Sasuke walked into the village. That was a rather shocking sight, as he just walked right into the village. The envoys brought him towards Tsunade as he didn't want to fight. Tsunade was surprised to see him as she wondered why the hell would she accept him back. But Sasuke said that he knew there was a war coming, and he killed Orochimaru and Itachi. He fought with Itachi, and when he was exhausted, he did not know what happened because Itachi's body was gone. Unknown to him or anyone else, the Uzumakis were the one that took his body. As Sasuke would never be able to gain the eternal Monkey Sharingan, even though his eyes had changed. He now had the Monkey Sharingan, but the Eternal seemed out of his grasp for the moment, and if he overused it he would go blind. Tsunade knew that this time was crucial and he would need him, as she was gonna put him on lockdown though at Uchiha compound. Sasuke managed to get out rather quickly though, as he made his way towards Danzo. Danzo was rather shocked seeing him here. Sasuke was not taking the crap from Danzo as Sasuke incinerated one of his root members, the Amaterasu. As Sasuke told him blinked that he was coming for him and he was gonna die, and there was nothing he can do to stop it. As Danzo went towards Tsunade, as he wondered what was going on, she said that she would hand Sasuke over to him, but she told him that she had other things planned right now and she couldn't deal with that at the moment. As Jiraiya brought some troubling news, and she knew that Naruto was going to be angry. As she brought Naruto to the office, he was called. As she spoke to him, she cannot let him fight with the Uzumakis, although she said she wouldn't hold him back at first. Things were just getting out of hand now, as he had to remain confined to the village. Yet he did not show any anger or outbursts or anything. He was just calm, as she really hoped that he didn't hate her because she just wanted him to be alive throughout all of this. As Naruto made his way off, he was contacted by a red-headed Uzumaki that was wearing a mask. As Naruto was planning something, seems like he was gonna fake his death. Temari was brought to the village, as Gaara sent her over, seeing that Tsunade saw that there was something that the girl liked in Naruto. Perhaps the two of them getting together wasn't such a bad idea, and he could make Naruto life less harder. So Temari was surprised to hear that he was here as she made her way towards his apartment. As she spoke to him, once again he was charming as ever. 2 hours later though, Sasuke had made a move as he was surrounded by dead Root Agent's body. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. So we'll see you in this new episode. Sasuke was surrounded by a handful of corpses. They were from Danzo's route. He had waited until Danzo had left the hideout before sneaking in, They were weak shinobis who couldn't do much to him. He had cut through them without wasting time. He didn't even need to use the power of the monkey the Sharingan. He was currently waiting for Danzo, as he knew that the Warhawk would make an appearance anytime soon now. He had let one of them slip past him. As he made him went off to call his master, he wanted to show Danzo that he wasn't afraid of him. He wouldn't do anything quickly, he would buy his time. He would wait and let the man know that he was gonna die, and there wasn't a damn thing that he could do about it. Sasuke Monkey Sharingan flared as he activated his Susanoo rib cage. As he turned, "I've been waiting for you, Danzo," he said. Danzo was furious. He wanted to snap the neck of the Uchiha at this moment. This was unacceptable. He could not accept this. Many of his forces were cut down by this boy. Judging from the numbers Uchiha had cut down, nearly 3/4 of his men, it was a disaster. He wouldn't have any man to do his work now. If he had the Kyuubi, it wouldn't matter. But he didn't have it. And Sasuke was killing his people. It was unacceptable. Tsunade was even making things difficult for him on the other side. Nothing was going according to plan. As he glared at those accursed eyes, he already knew that Sasuke had the Monkey Sharingan, but he didn't want to fight him here. He could win in a fight against Sasuke, but he couldn't be in the village when there was a danger of someone else finding out. It would be disastrous if he unlocked his secrets and Tsunade showed up with her envoys. And with Jiraiya on his case and still within the village, it would certainly be the end of him. Still, he hadn't thought that Uchiha would go this far. Seems like it was desperate time. He had to get Uchiha out of the village and into a corner so he can do the dirty work himself. If he was successful, he would end up gaining control of the Uchiha, using Shisui's eye. "You have gone too far, Sasuke," Danzo said in a cold tone. "I dismiss your intention. I didn't think that you would do this, but it's apparent that I was wrong. If you have a problem, you're free to do what you please, Danzo," said Sasuke. As Sasuke knew that Danzo would not make a move right here, as it would be rather stupid for him to attack him right here. Given the situation, Danzo frowned. "I don't want to end up killing a valuable asset for Konoha when there's a war coming. You could prove to be a decisive individual in the upcoming battles. Certainly, if Kumo and the Stone attack Konoha with their Jinchuriki, he would just have the Uchiha manipulate them with his Sharingan, and he would have 4 Jinchurikis under his possession, including the Kyuubi. Konoha would destroy both Kumo and the Stone, and he would take their Bijous and seal them into the people that he would trust. But those plans are being threatened. If he had to choose between himself and Sasuke, the Uchiha had to die. It was that simple. You sound certain that there's a war coming. Are you planning on making one happen?" "I don't have to do anything to make a war happen, Uzu. Just has to continue to exist and one will happen." "I am quite certain their plans are not pure either," Danzo said. "You should also cease with your actions. They only threaten Konoha's safety." "Your shinobis are worthless," Sasuke said as he looked around. "They can't win any battles for Konoha. They only did treacherous things in darkness. I think it's much better for Konoha if they're not alive when a war does come." "You've already mentioned this," Danzo said as he looked around. At least the Uchiha was not going to outright attack him. That was good. It would give him the chance to move things in motion. He certainly couldn't allow this brat to do as he pleased while he just stand there and watch. Does Tsunade know about this? I'm quite certain she wouldn't be pleased if she knew. Sasuke simply smirked. "What makes you think that she doesn't know?" he asked calmly. "With everything that you have done, do you think that she would be happy having you behind her when she's going to war? There is no guarantee that you wouldn't try to kill her to take the Hokage seat for yourself. And as long as I'm in this village, you can continue to dream about being Hokage, but you won't get it." As Sasuke stepped forward and narrowed his eyes at Danzo. "I see," said Danzo. "So you've thought through things." Danzo watched as Sasuke just snorted. Who the hell did Danzo think he was? In the past, Sasuke might have let his emotions get the better of him, but now he was going to tie up all the loose ends before he took down Danzo. He would get it without interruptions, and he wouldn't do anything stupid to mess it up. "The next time we meet, it will be your end. You can start preparing for your death." The Susanoo dispersed as Sasuke flashed away. As Danzo frowned, "Fu," he said. "Yes, Danzo-sama." As the envoy came in front of him kneeling, "Get me those 2 stone people." Desperate time called for desperate measures. He had to get Kumo and the Stone to focus on each other. They cannot afford to turn on a leaf right now. Things had to be sorted out here first. "Right away, Danzo-sama," said Fu. As he flashed away, minutes later, Fu returned with 2 shinobis from the Hidden Stone. He had already used Shisui's eyes on them. He just had to release them to do what he wanted them to do. "You 2 will assassinate the 4th Raikage. You will rendezvous with someone once you reach a cloud. They will show you the way. The Hidden Stone needs to be done quickly." "Yes," the both of them said. "Lead them out, Fu," said Danzo. "We don't want them getting captured." Fu nodded. As he brought them away, "Do you think they will succeed, Danzo-sama?" Inoue asked. Danzo shook his head. They were weak. They could not assassinate someone like Ape. But you didn't need to be all that powerful to assassinate someone. You just had to be powerful in the art. What we want done is to have Kumo and the stone fighting each other, Danzo said. Bravo, Danzo, said a voice, as Naruto appeared out of nowhere clapping his hands. In this way, you can have Kumo and the stone fight each other, while you rest easy and prepare things on your part. It will be difficult for the Raikage to believe anything from Oniki, given the fact that they are indeed stone shinobis. Oniki might deny it, but the fact is that his shinobis were trying to kill the Raikage. Bravo! It's unlikely that they are gonna fight, but they would never trust each other. After saying that, Naruto poofed away. Shadow Clone, said Danzo with a frown. Should we go after him? Inoue said. Danzo shook his head. He's not gonna do anything about it. But this just confirms it. He cannot be trusted, said Danzo. It works both ways either. If Kumo and the stone are busy fighting each other, they won't focus on Uzo. This does clear the way for us to move without interruption. Prepare for our departure, burn everything that needs to be burned. We will step away from Konoha for a while. Meanwhile, Naruto shook his head. After taking the memories of his clone, Danzo was a truly old crafty man. He knew what had to be done, and he did it. Naruto would not say a single word, not even to Tsunade or Jiraiya. Of course, if they knew they would take action against the Warhawk, they wouldn't openly admit to any of the hidden villages that he was one of their shinobi who started the madness. The two villages would just bring their wrath towards Konoha doorstep. It wouldn't even surprise Naruto if the Raikage demands that he get the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, or he would go to war. But the Hidden Stone will certainly try to stop that. They wouldn't want the Cloud to get another powerful Jinchuriki. So, if Tsunade ever admitted Danzo's plot, the villages would be in a difficult position. Well, that was what you get for keeping a madman like him in your corner. Sasuke's boldness for attacking Danzo right away was kind of surprising, but Naruto wouldn't be saying anything to him. Perhaps it was good that Uchiha had someone to take his anger out on. It might have proved troublesome if he didn't have someone to blame for the Uchiha massacre. Well, Naruto was happy either way. He wouldn't even need to do anything to get the conclusion that he likes. He just had to watch as everything unfolded in front of him. As he looked up for a moment, time always moved quickly when there was a lot to do. As he was making his way towards Temara hotel room, she was staying for a while but she will be leaving soon. With everything happening, it's best that she leaves soon, and with capable shinobis guarding her, Danzo would try to do something to her if he felt like he didn't have much choice in the matter. As Naruto knocked, she noticed that it was him, as she welcomed him inside. As Naruto stepped in silently and waited for her to close the door behind her. When he didn't hear her footsteps after the door closed, he turned to face her. She was leaning up against the door frame. Nervous dear, he asked. She breathed in and out before meeting his gaze. He had that small smile of his. He had told her things about his past experience in this village. She felt like she knew him better now. She responded quietly. A little, she said. As Naruto studied her expression, this isn't the first time that we're alone together. Maybe, she said that shrug as she walked towards the couch and settled down. I wasn't expecting to see you, she said. Her eyes were watching him carefully as he sat down right beside her. He turned to face her directly. Naruto shrugged. Our time together isn't that bad. I rather like it, he said. She raised an eyebrow. I didn't think that you would admit that to me. He always tried to close the door when things were getting a bit too personal. Why wouldn't I, said Naruto. She shook her head and didn't answer his question. Do you like it better than those nights in the bar, she asked. I'm certain that you haven't stopped with those tendencies of yours. As Naruto looked amused. Hey, you don't know how it feels when you're in that place. Besides, it made me envious of how other people can be careless. And when I want to get lucky, I go there, he said, with a wink. She shook her head but she smiled. I knew that you were perfect. You go there, for the ladies. As he shook his head, I already told you I don't. But even if I enjoy the atmosphere there, I'd rather be here with you. The peace here is rather refreshing. She stared at him. I find that hard to believe, she said. You're mad that I just left you that day, isn't it? And I didn't say anything afterwards. And I did not write to you. Of course I'm disappointed, she said. She had still kept that message that he left for her. She had kept it, and she'd most likely keep forever. It had been the only thing tangible that she could think of and hold of him. Those thoughts were ridiculous. When did things even got to that point, she thought herself. He shifted his gaze as he looked down. I was actually trying not to get too close to you. You know, I have my issues, but when the heart is willing, you can't really stop it. She wasn't expecting that, as she found a hard way to understand what he meant. What? He turned towards her with a smile. It looked different from his usual smile. It was so warm and inviting. It made her heart race. I really think I like you, he said. Her cheeks got painted by a shade of pink. She was flustered, her confidence now vanishing, as she felt her heart beating fastly. He sounded so earnest it touched her. It made her feel all warm inside. This feeling, happiness, exciting, someone like her, and it was also the person she liked, but she couldn't admit it. She didn't have the confidence. What happened to all that bravado you had a moment ago? When you were glaring at me for laughing you with a note, he said, in a rather amusing tone. She picked up a cushion and threw it towards him. As he caught it, well, forgive me for not being like you, she said. You should get used to it already, he said, a laughing tone. Perhaps this will come back to bite her more than it would to him, but he truly hoped that she would understand. He truly hoped that she would not be hurt. He didn't want to do anything, but he couldn't help himself. As he got up and stepped towards her. As he leaned down, she was nervous, but not afraid. He could hear the sound of her heartbeat. It was perhaps her first time being in a situation like this. It was of course frightening for her. She didn't say anything though, as he smiled. As he leaned closer and placed both his arms on her waist. As she flinched, but he offered another smile. He still did not say a single word from his mouth, but she relaxed, seeing that smile of his. His hand slipped through her shirt. She was tense, but her body was warm and soft. Her eyes looked at him with a lot of emotions, but beneath all of that there was nothing but raw excitement. She didn't want him to move, so he leaned and captured her lips. As he started to kiss her, as she started to kiss him as well, his hands moved under her shirt, until he got up to her chest. As she broke the kiss and looked away, she was rather flustered. Her eyes were searching for something as she looked around. She went quiet for an entire minute. Don't do anything you don't want to do, he said. She nodded twice, the first nod, in agreement to his words, and the second nod giving him permission to continue. As he removed his shirt, before he started to help her undress, she got truly flustered, but her hands pulled him closer. She was hugging him. Once more he captured her lips in a gentle, soft, passionate kiss. This time she did not resist as she kissed him back. Time skipped. Temari stopped by the large village gates. She already had her fan strapped on her back. She had accomplished her mission for coming here, and gained more than she expected. She never thought that nothing like that would have happened when she knew that he was coming here, but things played differently. She enjoyed him. She enjoyed his comfort. She enjoyed every part of him. The thought made her blush. You're not thinking something naughty, are you? Said Naruto, with a smile on his face. She shook her head. You're not getting into my head, she said. I wasn't trying to, said Naruto. Just curious seeing you blushing when you were in your thoughts. She did not indulge him. He was teasing her again. She was going to fall for it. You can't really leave with me, she asked. You know, you don't have to reach the sun. As she offered him a smile, she really wanted to spend some more time with him. I can't, he shook his head no. I'm not allowed to leave the village. I'm currently at flight risk, you see, even now. I've got envoys watching me, he said. Tamara frowned. He hadn't said anything about this before. She hadn't even realized it. It had to do with the situation with Uzu. Don't this make you angry, she asked, constantly being watched. Annoying, yes. Angry, no, he said. It's a bit true I'm at flight risk, but that is not the most important thing. I really wish I could travel with you, but I'm currently tied to this village. She nodded as she looked down. When she looked back up, her cheeks were pink. When will I be able to see you again, she asked. He was amused by the way she spoke. She glared at him when she saw the amusement on his face. I don't know, but I will surely miss you, he said. When I can, I'll come to you. If you can't come to me, we will talk then. I hope it isn't after many months like last time, Tamara said. He pulled her into a hug as he whispered in her ear, have a safe journey. Don't worry about anything along the way. Although I won't be with you, someone will protect you along the way. She looked at him curiously. Was someone also watching me last time? He twirled her around as he pushed her away. I will be thinking about you when I visit the bar tonight. She turned at him with a glare. Just messing with you, he said. She grumbled a bit, but she simply nodded as she waved her hand as she walked away. As Naruto turned, looks like you're doing well, Jiraiya says. He flashed beside Naruto. We need to talk. It sounds serious, said Naruto. It is. What is it about, said Naruto. Did you ever go to Uzu with the third? Jiraiya asked in a serious tone. As Naruto raised his eyebrow, yes he winked, but he wasn't going to tell that to Jiraiya. Nevertheless, Jiraiya was not supposed to know this. Then again, if he was asking, he did not know. He was just working on suspicions. I can't answer that, he said. Can't or won't, Jiraiya asked. Doesn't matter either way. There was a couple of things I did with the old man, and he told me never to tell anyone. Whatever you say or you have in mind, it's not something I would answer, especially if I gave the old man my word. Jiraiya narrowed his eyes dangerously. I will assume that you went to Uzu, but what did you see in the village? Was it revived when you went there? I care for you, Naruto, and I don't want to suspect anything. But if you do not answer the questions, This village will have no choice but to use force to get you to answer the questions. It's no longer just about you, but the very village security is under threat. And that's where we draw the line, huh? Said Naruto. Regardless of what you believe, I can't answer that question, Sensei. If you think using force is the only way to get the answers, you're free to do so. I won't fight you. I have no desire to do so, but I still will not give out information. Jiraiya frowned even if that information can help us protect the hidden leaf. Protect it from what? Uzo, said Jiraiya. As Naruto was silent, he felt the urge to snort. Uzo has no reason to be a threat to Konoha. Perhaps if you're also assuming that I'm also a threat to Konoha, then I can understand. After what these people put me through, I do have a reason to see them crushed. But I have no such desire. I do not like to hold on to hatred. I'm already miserable. I'd rather not make things worse. Are you saying that Uzo is not a threat to Konoha? That is not my conclusion to make, said Naruto. What did you do when you got to the hidden rain? It seems that the wheels had started to spin rapidly when you returned. I'm curious. Nothing, but I'm worried Nagato will bring destruction, Jiraiya said in a firm tone. At this stage, I can't tell what you will do too, and that worries me. What did you say to him when you went to the hidden rain? You had some time with him before I came to the tower with Konan. Well, I just greeted that fellow Uzumaki, but not much more was said. Perhaps he may have mentioned something about both of us being trained by you. So if you're not going to take me to the envoy chambers of force, information out of me. I have a date with ramen. If you desire to come to me while there, just wait until I'm done eating. I would rather not have to fight over my spoiled meal. And with that, Naruto simply moved off, leaving Jiraiya alone. Jiraiya sighed. Well, he hadn't expected Naruto to leak anything, but things just got a lot more hectic. At Kumo, Yujito stepped inside the Raikage's office. She was really nervous why she was being called today. She was almost certain it had nothing to do with the mission that she recently did. But it wasn't one of the normal envoys that called her. It was a Black Corps member. You wish to see me, Raikage-sama. He was sitting there with Mobi, standing beside him. He nodded and looked up to her. Months ago, it was a certain sparring session with Uzumaki. As she nodded her head, she hadn't said anything about it because she felt it wasn't really important. Yes, Naruto, she said. You remember him well, the Raikage said. Well, he does leave an impression on you. And he's also another Jinjulke, so you cannot forget that. He was like someone normal who she couldn't forget after meeting in battle. And he also proven to be quite strong, so he was someone to remember. A nodded. We have a problem with the Uzumaki Clan, and very soon, you might have to face him. Tell me about his skills. She nodded that she did so. I'm going to send shinobis here to bring him by force, if necessary. If something happens, I can always put the blame on Konoha. You will observe from a good distance along with sea. It is likely that it will fail. When that happens, come report to me and I will make my demands to Konoha. Regardless of what happens, you're not to interfere. Understood? She nodded. At Konoha, Uchiha training ground, Sasuke's eyes flashed coldly when Naruto walked towards him. He hated the fact that the blonde could just walk in just like that. The blonde was standing in front of him, his face looking quite empty. He tried not to remember their last battle. He was not the same person as before, but this was not the right time yet. He was preparing himself to face Danzo. What a nasty look, said Naruto. Are you still angry I chopped off your wings the last time we met in battle? Sasuke clenched his fists. What do you want from me, Naruto? He asked. I have actually been watching you since you returned. Your activities with Danzo. I guess Itachi could not wipe out that hatred within you. Regardless, I know that Danzo is planning on fleeing the village. And you're gonna try and kill him. With the blessing of Tsunade, of course. How do you know that, Sasuke asked? That is not the important part. I already know. And you cannot change it. What you should be asking is why I'm telling you this. I'm actually getting bored in this village. So, I'm going to join you, said Naruto. You will fight Danzo and I'll handle his remaining Foundation forces. No, I don't want you anywhere near him. This is my fight and you will not interfere. You don't have a choice, Sasuke, said Naruto. If you don't want me there, you could try and disable me. But even with the Mangekyo Sharingan, I doubt you can. But if you want to try, you're welcome to do so. Sasuke was pissed off as he was thinking of killing the blonde. Well, if he does allow Naruto to join and shoot him along with Danzo, it could be a friendly fire. And the envoys could not assault him of any wrong. Naruto got in his way and the attack actually hit him. Things were troublesome with the blonde around the village. If he wasn't around, Sasuke could do as he pleased. I will permit it, Sasuke said. I will see you then, said Naruto, as he walked away. Time skip, Uzo. Gorin looked towards a group of Uzumakis in the training ground. They all had their chakra chain out, as they were trying to mix them with the conjunction of their barriers. The man leading the training was a person called Naruhiro, one of the mysterious Uzumakis in the island. The Uzumakis were truly gifted when it comes to our chakra. There was always something special about it, and above all else, they have a strong life force. This village was full of abnormal people. Orochimaru would have a field day if he got here, trying to use them for their strange abilities. She sat next to Haku, who was watching the training. What is happening? Things are moving, Haku said in a quiet tone. Gurren frowned. I don't like that cryptic tone, she said. I know, even though I handle Black Core, there are still some things I don't know, she said. The village intelligence don't even report to Yoshino. You hardly see them, but they're in the village. They're reporting to His Majesty, Haku said. Sometimes I forget that you don't know everything that is going on. Well, then again, your own job is already too much, given everything that you have to do. But I'm quite certain that soon you have to worry less. And why is that, she asks. Kumo and Stone will probably be fighting each other, and that means they won't be having time to focus on us. Well, the people here were thinking of making it happen, but someone beat them to the punch. Either way, it worked well for them. But we might have a Konoha problem. The Hidden Leaf Gurren said. What about them? His Majesty suspect that Konoha think that Uzu is alive with the Hidden Rain, and the leader of the Hidden Rain is up to no good. They might be thinking of using force to get the information that they need, Haku said. We must expect to see Jiraiya very soon. I will be ready for him, said Gurren. Haku shook his head, even I know that he's someone the both of us cannot handle. We don't want to start trouble with Konoha, but if they do use force, we'll have to block him. Do you know how this village managed to stay under the radar for so long? What? The Uzumakis indeed scattered across the Elemental Nation, but they never went to Konoha because the Leaf cannot be trusted either way. It wasn't just paranoia. There was reason to believe that the Leaf was a enemy of the Hidden Whirlpools. Haku stated. A barrier was erected around the village. It was a special kind of barrier that messed up all of your senses, much like Genjutsu. You can't see it, and it only affected those that didn't have Uzumaki chakra signature in them. If you came here dojutsu or not, you wouldn't be able to see anything. It would just be ruins. Perhaps when Jiraiya comes around, they will use the same barrier. It was deactivated once His Majesty decided to grow the village and allow other people to come in this land. I don't know, but Yoshino said that you shouldn't worry about it. He's likely to walk through the gates. Gurren frowned. I always knew these people can do some crazy thing with seals, she said. I have seals on my body. Is there something I don't know? Haku smiled. Don't be too suspicious, Gurren-san, he said. The seals that you were branded with do exactly what you were told that they do. We are comrades. Do you really think they would lie to you when you have an important job here? You were trusted with a job that people thought that shouldn't be given to an outsider, and Uzumaki should deal with it. But Yoshino, he trusted you. What about the Emperor? Gurren asked. Well, you're here, aren't you? Haku said. Yoshino might look like he runs everything, and indeed he runs a lot of things. But no one do anything without His Majesty giving his blessings. You are here because His Majesty decided that you were trusted. Gurren never thought that there was some mistrust. Haku did keep some things away from her, but there was a lot more. Technology came from the hidden snow, but she didn't know exactly what it was. Things were even being moved from the hidden snow. What is being built on the east side of the island? Do you want to see? I wouldn't ask if I wasn't curious. Come on, Haku says he stood up. I will show you what is being built and why the village is remaining closed. Certainly, the Elemental Nation will try to invade us if they knew what we were building. Oh, have you met Karen? Haku asks. Time skip. Outskirts of Konoha. Gonzo cursed ferociously in his mind when he sensed multiple chakra signature on his tail. Things never went as his plan nowadays, damn it. Had Hiruzen been alive, he would have been blaming him for this, but he still should have known that things would have get to this point. Yes, he should have known that. He should have known that he would be after him, but he thought he did things secretly, without anyone knowing. At least he should be farther away from Konoha before they track him down. He stopped walking with his two agents. Snazzy Onbus were hidden, but he could sense them from trees. As he watched Sasuke appear in a flash of lightning. Did you really think I was going to allow you to leave, Danzo? Asked Sasuke with his monkey Sharingan glaring at him with nothing but contempt. Yes, this was the man that he needed to kill. If Naruto tried to make a move on the Warhawk, he was going to burn him with the Amaterasu Flame or shoot him right to the chest with an arrow. No one will stand in his way. You are truly a disappointment to the memory of Itachi, Danzo said in a cold tone. So are you a disappointment to the memory of the second, said Naruto, as he appeared. Danzo was shocked. He did not sense a blonde, he just appeared. Danzo didn't sense a damn thing. I was not expecting you, Naruto, he said. I grew bored sitting around. The Onbus are also watching that I don't try to run away from the village, said Naruto. Now, can you stand aside so I can slaughter all your men? I have been rather frustrated being chained up like this. Your man will make me release all my anger. Slaughter? Sasuke was surprised by hearing those words. The blonde never looked like he was a bloodthirsty type. Then again, when has he ever showed that interest in anything? Naruto shrugged. Don't take my words literally. I like to mislead people at times, he said. That aside, that is quite better than saying I'm going to defeat you all. I guess there is no way to avoid this thing, Danzo said, as he started to remove the bandage on his forehead. As Naruto tilted his head. Oh. Shisui's eye. Well, no need to look at it in marvel. Let us do this. The moment that happened, Naruto released a dose of killing intent, as Danzo was surrounded by his envoys rather quickly. He won't be coming after me. Sasuke won't move in until you have apprehended Naruto. Do this quickly, Danzo said. Yes, Danzo-sama, they replied. As Naruto flashed right there, 8 kunais in his hand. As the root agents turned to face him, the kunais were caught in the wind chakra as he released them. As one of the root agents had yet to turn around, it ripped right through his neck, leaving a gaping hole as he collapsed. The 7 that came out next was hurled. 3 of them dodged, but the others were not so lucky, as the others twisted around to attack the blonde. Their throats were pierced, as Naruto stood behind them. As a root Kunoichi flashed behind Naruto, as she had a blade in her arm, she swung it downwards, trying to slash across his back, as another one flashed in front of Naruto, his feet weaving through the air. As Naruto moved forward and twisted aside, avoiding the slash and the kick, as he quickly jumped on his feet, facing the 2 that attacked him. He didn't get to make a move as another launched towards him from behind, as he swung a right punch straight towards the back of Naruto's head, as Naruto caught it with his left hand, without even looking back. As Naruto threw him back with force, as a wind blade came on his palm, as 4 root agents launched themselves towards him. The wind sword extended invisible to the naked eye as Naruto twists. All 4 of them dropped dead as they were sliced in half. As Naruto straightened up, a brutal kick slamming to his face. He slid back a bit as he watched a woman moving towards him with her blade. When she got near him, she threw it to her right hand and she caught it and swung it towards his left shoulder. Naruto moved forward and caught her hand, stopping her motion, as he drive his wing blade right through her chest. That's 9 down, he said. 11 more to go. Come now. We don't want to keep your master waiting. They were really no match as he cut them all down. Well, he wasn't expecting much from Danzo's people. Once done, Naruto flashed behind Danzo. That still wasn't enough to do it, he said. I'm tempted to launch at you. I will not let you do that. As Sasuke was instant to know, a bow and arrow were already ready, as the arrow fired and ripped through Danzo's chest, missing Naruto by a whisker, but he did not seem concerned at all, as Naruto vanished and reappeared beside Sasuke, as he placed his hand right in Susanoo. So, this is Susanoo, he said. You tried to kill me, didn't you? But Sasuke looked towards Danzo, who was getting up, who looked completely fine, as Naruto glanced towards Danzo's arm, with the multiple Sharingans clearly visible. My wife would love to have that right hand of yours. To experiment on it, said Naruto. No doubt there's been some use of Hashirama cells there. He then turned back to Sasuke. I won't forget that you tried to kill me. Yes, you will surely die one day. His tone was cold as he spoke, before he vanished. Time skip at Kumo. The Raikage was sleeping. His senses kicked in as he rolled. A kunai ripped right through his pillow, just after he had rolled. On the other side of the bed there was another shinobi, who tried to stab him, but he caught the kunai in his finger, as lightning capped around his body, as he snapped the kunai, as he knocked the shinobi back into the wall. An envoy quickly apprehended the other one behind him, as the lights were flicked on. A was furious. How did they manage to get past you people? There was someone outside who got our attention, and he managed to elude us and we went after him. Incompetence, the right guy said, he slammed his hand on the bed. Get out! After a couple of moments he appeared outside. He was dressed properly. Who would even dare make this pathetic attempt on his life? His first thought was thinking Uzu. He couldn't think of anyone that wanted to kill him. But he was shocked when he saw the headband. Are they really from the Hidden Stone? It wouldn't be a trick to dress assassins in other village clothing to start some problem. The kunais are from the stone, but we cannot confirm anything at this point. Then go and confirm it, Ace said. I want answers immediately. If they are indeed from the stone, Anki would regret thinking about this stupid decision that he has made. He would not let this slide. As the hour passed, he grew impatient and he went towards the interrogation cell himself. What is taking so long? They confirmed that you're from the stone, but they won't say who sent them. One of Shinobi responded. They say the order came from the stone, but incapable of answering certain questions. Why does that matter? They're from the Hidden Stone, and that's all I want to hear. Shall we stop or continue? Continue. If they die, they die. Time skip. At Konoha. The agreement that Nioke would hire some people to kill him, but Naruto no longer had the appetite for it. He no longer had desire to cut through worthless shinobis, who couldn't even force him to fight seriously. Perhaps this was because he spent too much time fighting with Jiraiya. He forgot how to fight weaker shinobis. That aside, fighting weak people did bore him too much. As he looked up in the tree, as he sensed Naoki, cancel the order, he said, "It's not necessary anymore. Besides, there are many people who want me dead." "That's a pity," said Naoki. "What about Sasuke? He did try to kill you, and given a chance, he will do it again. Let him do as he please, he will surely try to kill me again. I am nothing more than a threat to his childish dreams. It's good that he doesn't know that I don't care about what happened to Konoha. Either way, he will surely die." Naoki looked at him. "Konoha won't be happy," she said. "The hidden leaf is irrelevant," said Naruto. "Besides, if he tried to kill me again, I have more reason to step on his throat and end the Uchiha. The Uchiha is not the big picture. What is happening with the search for Kabuto?" "Still no luck. Ever since Orochimaru died, he has completely disappeared, without a single trace." As that wasn't what he wanted to hear. Kabuto was a child of Orochimaru. He knew too much and he could do a lot of damage with it. His knowledge regarding the things that he learned with Orochimaru could also be vital. Gurren had some information, but not the sensitive information that Kabuto knew. He needed Kabuto to be either dead or working for him. If you can't find him and stop the search, it's just gonna be a waste of time or effort. Eventually, when he wants to be seen, he will make an appearance. "You are planning on using him," said Naoki. "Wouldn't that be dangerous? Someone like him cannot be trusted." "Your opinion was not requested, Naoki. When I want it, I will ask for it," said Naruto. Naoki merely smiled. "That is rather cold, Your Majesty," she said. "There is still nothing regarding Zetsu, but we have Madara's hideout watch for any sign of movements. So far, there's nothing." "That is a nuisance that really does trouble me," said Naruto with a frown. "Madara cannot return to this world. We have already done enough to stop his crazy plan, but now his driving force is eluding us." "He won't be hidden forever," Naoki said. "As long as you remain a Jinchuriki, he will be coming for you. I don't want anything that's a nuisance in my dream." "Is that for me?" he asked. She nodded as she threw the bingo book towards him. As Naruto opened the marked page and found himself with an A rank. What a pitiful ranking. "Well, it matters not. You certainly don't want people to understand that you're all powerful. This situation can be dangerous. You're going to die, so it does not matter anyway," said Naoki. "The team is ready to come in as soon as they hear the loud booming." "No, wait for them to send a message, or at least a couple of days before they arrive. We don't want unnecessary questions. What more do you want from me?" "There's also Temari," said Naoki. "That's a matter that is not your concern. Leave it as it is. And don't do anything I don't tell you to do. You can leave the village now and go back home. Your presence is no longer necessary." As he turned to walk the village. "I think I'll stick around for a while. I have grown to like this village," she said. "There are so many things that are happening that just catch your attention. Your interactions are also rather amusing." As Naruto glanced towards her, but he didn't say anything, he just looked away. Time skip. Hokage's office. Tsunade looked up when Naruto walked inside. She managed a small smile as their eyes connected. Since he came back from the training trip, this was the first time he came to her without he being called. "Naruto, I wasn't expecting to see you," he said. "You mean just after our last conversation?" he said. "Yes," she said. "What can I do for you? Are you looking for a mission that will keep you from getting bored? I think I can find something suitable for you." As Naruto did not remind her that she barred him from leaving the village, she was just too eager to do something for him that she didn't register that he could not leave the village on any real mission. "I didn't come for a mission." "What is it then?" she asked. "I was just coming back from the Forest of Death, where I was doing some meditation. I was attacked by some unknown shinobi. I think I left some corpse there. I don't know where they're from because they didn't have anything on to identify them." "You were attacked, and you were that indifferent," she said, as he didn't seem to care one bit. "It is nothing serious. Besides, situations like these did help train your senses. You need to be active at all times. I think some of them escape. I didn't bother to chase after them because they were probably not going to give anything." "Where did this happen?" "Just behind the place we had preliminary rounds." "Well, I guess that is that." "Wait," she said. "How did things go with Temari?" As she was really hoping that things went well. "How did things go?" said Naruto. "What things?" Tsunade frowned at that. She was not dealing with that idiot that failed to read between the lines. "I thought you were getting along with her." "Meh. She's a good friend," said Naruto. "Is there something I should know?" "Not now, at least," she said. "I see," said Naruto with a smile. "Why are you smiling?" she asked. "Well, you're a Sannin, alright," said Naruto. "You do know how to lie without leaving anything for anyone to question you." "Well, to answer your questions, things were smooth. I'm not sure where we stand, but it was certainly interesting. I think I might give her a call in the near future." "Why not soon?" asked Navi. "There's much to do in the immediate future," he said. "I'm still a flight risk in this village, and the situation with Uzu hasn't been solved. It does weigh down on my mind. Until it is solved, I have the burden weighing down on my shoulders. I'm sorry to put you through this, she said. I hope that we can solve the situation very soon. It will be better for everyone involved. But it all depends on us. We don't force him to do anything. I don't want to suspect you of anything, but be patient for a little while. And all the cloud will be lifted off your shoulders. Naruto nodded as he turned towards the door before he could open it though. Shizune walked inside. Shizune, he said with a smile. You really must let me take you out sometimes. Go play with someone your age, Naruto, said Tsunade. I'll pay it, said Naruto. As he smiled at Shizune. As she smiled back, as he left. As he closed the door behind him. Why did you do that? This is the second time you're doing that. Tsunade blinked. Wait. Are you actually interested in going out with him? Shizune shrugged. It wouldn't have been bad. I hear a charming young man that knows what he's doing. At least that is what Jiraiya-sama says. And you just took the word of a pervert. Shizune shrugged once again. I just get lonely sometimes, she said. Later that day, as Naruto was currently in the bar, he smiled when Uncle walked towards his table with Kurenai, Asuma, Kakashi, and another woman. I figure you would need some company, Uncle said. You figure right, said Naruto. I was honestly wondering who will keep me entertained in the night. It get rather lonely in the dark corner, he said. Kurenai raised an eyebrow. Didn't you choose it? As Naruto looked at Kurenai's eyes, how exotic. I certainly wouldn't mind waking up with having your eyes stare at me. As Uncle whistled, as she looked towards Asuma, I think you have some competition there, Asuma. Kurenai-chan might be leaving with him by the end of the day, if you're not careful. Uncle, what are you saying, said Kurenai. Uncle shrugged as she turned towards Naruto. You will try, right? Naturally, said Naruto. There are few women that entice you to stare at them as she does. But I did not know that Asuma was already playing in the field. As Naruto turned towards the man, Asuma shook his head. Nothing from Naruto surprised him these days. The blonde might be young in age, but he had the mind to play with the adults. Perhaps Uncle was right. If he wasn't careful, he would find the blonde behind Kurenai. You didn't answer our question, Asuma said, as he glanced towards Kurenai. It's a good place to serve for a priest, said Naruto. I got to survey everything while sitting like this. As he looked at Kurenai, like she was a prey. As she glared at him, he simply laughed. I just stole a line from Uncle, he said. I believe that is something she would say. Then why? Naruto shrugged, as he turned towards the girl. I like being alone. Anvu, he said. Kakashi, I didn't think that you would date real women. I always thought that your only woman was an orange book of yours. What was her name again? I'm quite sure I heard you whisper her name once. You were sleeping on a mission. Uncle burst out laughing. Yujeu was his former subordinate in Anvu. As Naruto shook his head, I should have figured that much. You don't have to look so disappointed, Naruto, said Kakashi. As Naruto turned towards her, I have seen her here for quite some time. I'm certain that you have seen some expression on my face that not even Jiraiya has seen. It is glad to finally see you without the mask. She returned a smile. A pleasure to finally meet you in person. You two know each other from somewhere, Uncle asked. She's a Anvu and I'm a Jinjoki, so yes, I do know her. As I do with some Anvu, said Naruto. Kakashi was surprised by that. Yujiro been watching Naruto? He had known about that. And Tsunade never said anything about that. Had they just relieved a secret, the others would not know, but he would, because he knew what was going on in the office. It is not what you're thinking, Kakashi said Naruto. And if it is, please keep those thoughts to yourself, senpai. What do you think I was thinking, said Kakashi. Probably. I had a crush on her. I know that I've grown she has finally had put away that mask. And returned those feelings. Or something like that. Time skip. The Yin Stone. Oniki was furious, as he got more mad with each passing word from the letter from the fourth Raikage. After he was done, he slammed his fist on the table as he shouted some curses, releasing a dose of killing intent. That was his plans down in the drain after that letter. He was indeed furious about this. How could he work with the Raikage when things were like this? Not long ago, he told the Hidden Leaf that he was going to war. He was willing to go to war with it. And now he had to worry about the Raikage. Certainly, if he attacked Whirlpools, he was going to be attacked by Kumo. And Konoha will try to defend the Hidden Whirlpools, and that would just be bad on him. He shouldn't have said those words then, but he did not know that this would happen. Who could benefit from this situation? Oniki needed someone to blame because he did not give his shinobis the order to go along with this. Someone had done it and was trying to go along with it. It was either Shinobi had betrayed him, or they were being manipulated by someone. But the Raikage was confident it was his shinobi, and he would send their heads so that he could confirm. But if they were a shinobi, who could have given the order? As he thought the possible options, it was either Konoha or Usu, because he wasn't behind this, as he cursed once again. If you don't start talking now, I will assume that someone has declared war on us, said Kurosaki. It has indeed happened like that, he said. She frowned. Usu, she said. Oniki shook his head. The worst case scenario, he said. Kumo has declared us an enemy after 2 of our shinobis were caught trying to assassinate him. What? She got to her feet. Are you serious? Do I look like I'm joking? He asks. Who is framing us? She asks. I don't know, said Onki. But we will find out, and whoever is behind it, they will know my anger. I will not forgive it and I will not forget it. But at least for now we can rest assured that Kumo will not attack first. People have seen many wars. They won't do anything carelessly. Any village that makes the first move. If we attack Uzu, Konoha will defend it, and given the situation, Konoha would be weakened in the event. But the sun will be backing them. And Kumo might try to come after us after we've weakened. Kurosaki frowned. What are we gonna do? She said. We're going to see who's responsible for this. In the meantime, I will meet the Raikage. If I have to go to Kumo to see these shinobis while they're alive, I will meet with them. I cannot have anything messed up planned while we're so close. Isn't that dangerous? Kurosaki asks. Kumo might try to use his killer grandfather, or maybe the person that was trying to frame them would try to kill them both. It is, said Onki. But I cannot run away from it. Who knows? We might end up solving this issue if we meet. What of those people you hired? They haven't come back, but I'm not expecting them until next couple of days, said Kurosaki. But Kumo has already put him in their bingo book as an A-rank shinobi. It doesn't mention much, but it does say a few things. It says that he can control some of the Kyuubi's power. That is worrying, Onki said. Because the Kyuubi is the most powerful, is Jinchuriki. To be able to control all that power would be quite worrisome. Let's just hope that he cannot control it all. I am more interested in his personality and mindset. For now, as long as he doesn't know his father jutsu, it isn't a threat. Why his mindset? It gives us a glimpse of what he's gonna do if he's willing to jump in, even if Konoha won't back also in the fight. We will have a Jinchuriki in our hand to face. Kurosaki looked thoughtful. I can just arrange to meet him to get more information. I don't know how I would contact him though. You can just go to Konoha. We hadn't have any diplomatic relationship with Konoha. You can just go there to talk about the current issues. Jiraiya was here to talk about your viewpoint. While there, you can meet Naruto. You will also get a chance to see about the Leaf security, he said. And what they're doing in this time of tension. Meanwhile, at Ichiraku Ramen, as Naruto looked at the food in front of him, he was certainly gonna miss this ramen. Is something wrong? Ayam asked, as she saw Naruto just staring. He shook his head as he looked up. I was merely thinking. Sometimes I let my thoughts wander a bit. What were you thinking about? She was glad it was nothing to do with the bowl that she served him, because it would be the first time that he complained after being served. If an emperor offer you a chance to open your services in his land, to personally serve him, would you take it? She tilted her head. That would be something else, but I can't just leave Konoha for no reason. I'm not a Konoichi, so there is no loyalty, but if I'm gonna leave Konoha, I can't just be because of wealth. What is more valuable than wealth? He asks. Happiness, she said. Good answer, said Naruto, as he started to eat calmly. Once he was done, he paid as he left. As he walked through the streets of the Hidden Leaf, he was basking, walking calmly. When he arrived to his apartment, he went inside and closed the door. As he released a calm sigh. He was being watched, but at least things were safe in his place. He walked towards his couch. As he sat down, Tamara was probably gonna hate him, but there was nothing that he could do. He couldn't let things be undone. As he settled down gracefully, as he placed both feet on his coffee table, as he closed his eyes, and everything went up in flames. A massive explosion rocked. It could be heard all over the Hidden Leaf village. It blew apart his apartment. The apartment block was immediately surrounded by envoys who came to put out the flames. They had been quick to act, knowing that the apartment belonged to the Hidden Leaf, Jinchuriki. If something happened to him, there was a chance of Kyuubi breaking free, and they would have an angry Hokage who would be demanding answers. Immediately after the explosion, the village was placed on lockdown. Tsunade flashed into the scene with Jiraiya, with envoys watching over. Tsunade was glad that there was no sign of the Kyuubi. That meant Naruto was alright. It wasn't free, so he was alright, right? But this explosion was not a small thing. She felt the explosion all the way in her office, but she could not break down right here. She had to keep a stern face, as she was standing on a building roof nearby, as an envoy flashed in front of her, with Naruto's burned body in his hands. Tsunade's eyes went wide as she vanished off the roof with the envoy and Jiraiya. As Jiraiya felt something snap in his heart. No, the man was thinking, as he arrived towards the tower. As the envoys gently placed him down in Tsunade's cheek, she felt no pulse. As Jiraiya stood there, his world started to spin. There was no pulse. There was no pulse. No, Naruto was dead. He was dead. But guys, we end episode right here. If you want anything special to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification so you posted. Remember, share all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, Stay tuned for the rest of what is coming your way over Anime King 2 and Anime King 3. If you're new, yes, I have 3 channels, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we get the hell out of here? See you guys soon. Peace.